is the possibility. Like, what if I would claim, no, if you just do the ishut, you only have ishut. And then you get she's chatzi mikudeshet. Right? She's asula l'chol ha'olam, but she's not muteret lo. Or we're missing something from this kiddushin. Is that possible?
That's what happens. Yes.
Okay. Right. So okay, but the isur bia by an arusa is only drabbanan. Right? This would be by an arusa is only drabbanan. You're right. So there you can say it's created in stages. But is it possible to be stuck there? Okay, let's see. Right, that you'll have that an arusa is asura kol haolam, but she's not muteret lo, although that's rabbanan. But there are other things. We'll see about achilat truma is not clear. We'll talk about that. Okay, so is it possible to get stuck there? So I want to show you two things. Okay, I don't know if we're going to have time for both of them, but it's really fascinating. The first is, let's take a look at the Rambam in where is it? Hold on. What? No, hold on.
You should say in your text the last stuff you sent us.
No, 1 second. Perek. Do you have the Rambams with you? I'll. It's not the page that I gave you. It's something else here. Because this is the most straightforward example. In the Rambam Perek Yud in Ilchot Ishut Halacha Bet. Okay? Let's see the Rambam very carefully. Okay? Okay, he starts off in Halacha Aleph, just to get the background. Ha'arusa asura leba'ala midivrei sofrim. Okay, that's okay. Kol zman shi beveit avia. Okay. Now in Halacha Bet, kevan shenechnesa ha'arusa lechupa, right? Harei zo muteret lo lavo aleha b'chol eit sheyirtzeh. Right. So then there's a heter bia when she's in a suah, right? Varehi ishto. Listen to this phrase. Harehi ishto gmura lechol davar. She's totally his wife. Right? Umishetikanes lechupa. He harps on this. Umishetikanes lechupa nikret nisua. Afa pishalo niv'ala. Even though the marriage is not consummated. V'hu shetiya ruya lebi'ilah. Aval im hayta nida. This is the Rambam Shita that you can't have chupat nida. Aval im hayta nida. Afal pi shenechnasa lechupa v'nityached ima. Listen carefully. Listen to this language. Lo gamru hanisuin. V'harei hi ki. I'm stressing this. Ki arusa adayin. What is she? Is she a nisua or an arusa? So here it's not the paradoxical answer for the Mashiach. Yes, it's a different paradoxical answer. The answer is no. Right? Is she an arusa or a nisua? The answer is no. Right? She is lo gamru hanisuin. V'harehi ki arusa adayin. She's somewhere in between.
The situation was that it was
chupat nida. The chupa she'ena ruya lebi'ah. Okay? So if there's chuppah, and it's ra'ui l'biyah, she's quote unquote ishto gmura. If it's eino ra'ui l'biyah, the nisuin lo gamru v'arehi ke arusa adayin. Somewhere in between. Okay. The Rambam, when he talks about chupat nida, he says later. In Halacha Vav, what I just read to you was Halacha Bet. In Halacha Vav, he talked about making the brachot. Hama'ares et ha'isha uberech birkat chatanim v'lo nityached ima beveito. If you make birchas chasanim, right, sheva brachot, but there was no yichud. Okay? He says, adayin arusahi. Sheva brachot do not a wedding make. Okay? Adayin arus. She'ein habrachot birkat chatanim oseh hanisuin. Okay? Ela knisa lechupa. Ireis v'kines lechupa. V'lo berech birkat chatanim. You machlis to the chuppah, but there was no shev brachot. That's we're talking about the shev brachot under the chuppah, not at the meal. Okay? Harei zo. Listen to the language. Nisua gmura. The brachot are not ma'akev at all. She's totally a nesua, even without the brachot. V'chozeru mevarech afilu achar kama yamim. And you can make the brachot later. V'lo tinasei nida ad shetitaher. But if she's a nida, it's chupash in biyah. What did he say about that? That she's eina ishto gmura v'harehi ke'arusa adayin. Okay? Now what happens, right? If you make the brachot, then you're supposed to make brachot. You're not supposed to make brachot. Suppose you're over and you do chupat nida, according to the Rambam. So you shouldn't make brachot, right? Ve'ein mivrachim la birkat chatanim. We don't pass in this way, obviously. Okay? Ve'ein mivrachim la birkat chatanim ad shetitaher. Now listen. Ve'im avar v'nasa uberech. Okay, stop. If you just took the Rambam, if you didn't read the Rambam carefully, you would say the chuppah she'eina lui biyah is nothing. It's not a chuppah. Harei eina ishto, blah blah blah. Gemara, we didn't notice, right? Harei arusa. So what does that mean? So if you do it and you make the brachot, the bracha is a bracha levatala. You have to do a nisuin again, and you have to do the brachot, right? That's what you would say. So what does the Rambam say? Ve'ein mivrachim la birkat chatanim ad shetitaher. Ve'im avar v'nasa uberech. I'm not going to think. What should you do? Should you do brachas again or not? Not because it's safes eino chozer mevarech. Because b'chol the brachot counted as a birkat chatanim. What? No, the birkat chatanim is nisuin. Is connected to nisuin, not to erusin. So he's saying you're not supposed to mivarech because the chatchila it's asu, because the chuppah she'eina lui biyah, and it's not nisuin gmurim. But it's enough of a nisuin that if you make the bracha, you don't make the bracha again. So what is this? She's sort of married. She's sort of married, right? She's eina ishto gmura v'harehi ki arusa adayin. Okay, I think what you have here is a partial. You're stuck until ad shetitaher. But in the meantime, if it's a chuppah she'eina biyah, so the positive relationship between them has not been established. So you do have the other aspects of nisuin. That if he's a Kohen and she dies, he'll be nitame to her. That he'll be yoresh her, right? The dinei mamonos things that you have, but the positive relationship between them, the heter bia, you don't have is the chuppah. So you have a partial nisuin, where maybe you have the public aspect, and you have the isur, the isur bia aspect for everybody else, but in terms of the relationship between them, it's not complete, right? And that's why it is nisuin for the brachot b'diavad. Okay, yeah.
You could have levels of marriage also, like if the marriage hasn't yet been consummated. I don't know if this is just secular law or also halacha.
No, I just read to you. So afilu lo ba'alaha.
No, I'm not talking about the Rambam. I'm just saying,
yeah.
When they say and they annulled the marriage, it wasn't consummated. So you don't actually have to get a divorce. It can be kinds of retro.
Right, but that is just that you just muvatal it. L'mafreya, but what was you're just saying it never was. It either is or it's not, but you didn't change what it is when it is. Right? You're saying it never happened. That's what you're saying. Here, something happened, but it's only partial. The other example, I'll just allude to it, is the last page here, which talks about. It's really okay, we have another 3 minutes. It's a very funny case. One person is mekadesh. He's mekadesh me'achshav u'la'achar shloshim yom. Right? It's a question of what that means. Does he mean to be chozer bo, or he wants it me'achshav and it should finish after shloshim yom, some sort of process. And then somebody else comes along and says me'achshav u'la'achar esrim yom. Another one comes along and says me'achshav u'la'achar asara yamim. Okay, so Rabbi Yochanan says that she needs a get from all of them. Now the Rambam interprets that to mean to get misafek. Rashi says that it's me'ikar hadin. And the way the Gemara describes it sounds like that. Rashi says as follows. Actually the language of the Gemara is, the Gemara says, I'll explain it to you. Rabbi Yochanan said, Afilu mea tovsim ba. Amalei Rav Misharshia Bered Rav Ami Rav Asi. Asbro lach tamid Rabbi Yochanan. I'll give you a mashal. Shavu nafshe kishrag de livni. Everybody is very polite. It's the way you lay bricks. You don't do one on top of the others and they'll fall down. You do a row and then you leave it over, right? You do it across the middle, right? And that's how you build up the bricks. So each one leaves space for the other, right? So he said, Lachar Shloshim, he left some room for somebody to come and say Lachar Esrim. And the person said Lachar Esrim left somebody room to say Lachar Asara, right? So Rashi says, that it's a suffix. It's not because the suffix. He says, the im kain lo shaykh lemitni tofsim. It says, Kiddushay kulam tofsim ba. He says, the ain't tfisa el be'echad mehem. V'ananu de lo yadin heininu. And that's not the case. Umiktani tofsim, mashma disfirle sheyesh bat sad kiddushin lekulu. She's married to all of them. That's what Rashi says. The Rambam says that it's misafik. But Rashi says, explicitly, she's married to all of them. That's a real chagigah, right? So the Ritva says no chagigah. The Ritva says, "Omer Mori Rabbeinu, dechi amrim dechol michad minayu ravcha lechavrei shavik." It's the last source on the page, the extra page I gave out. Hainu lekiddushin, aval liznut lo shavik ravcha. She can't have relations with all of them. The imkain harei muteret beznut l'chol olam toch zman zeh uma ishut yesh kan. ומה הועיל מעכשיו שלו אלא ודאי כדאמרן, אפילו אותם שקידשו אותה, אפשר דאסורה בביאה. אפשר, okay, whatever. שאין אישה אחת ראויה לכמה אנשים להשתמש זה בצד אישות של זה. וכל מה דאפשר למבצר שיעורי דידי בצרינה. הלכת, הרי היא אסורה להם. There's an Isser Eshet Ish. And each one created an Isser Eshet Ish. Right? But there's no Heter Bia. Right? So she's Mekudeshet Vadai to all of them. And that means she needs a get from all of them. There was a public pronouncement for which you need a get from all of them. Part of the Ishut was created. The public aspect of Ishut was created. And maybe, I don't know, the dinim of Yerusha, etc., that was created. But the Ishut between them was not created. That's impossible. So in this case, Kishraga Delivni, that there's a partial ishut that exists here. It's not a halacha l'maisa nafkamina, but it helps us to understand that the ishut is made up of different components that under certain laboratory circumstances, right? Whether it's chuppah she'ina ru'ila libiyah, or me'achshav achar lamed, me'achshav achar esrim, etc., that part of the ishut could be created and not all of it. You have the thing, the opposite way also in Gerushin also. V'isha grusha me'isha lo yikachu, afilu eina grusha ela me'isha lo yikachu. But that's a whole separate thing. It's the end of Masechet. You have this idea of Gerushin only from the husband, but she's not muteret b'chol adam. You have it the other way around also. Okay, there's still other things we haven't completed this issue. When we get back, we'll sum this up. There are a couple of other very important sugyot in order to help us understand this. And the key, I think, is the Rambam when he talks about the Isha's Mishua Bedet as the kinyan that the husband has, the last source that I sent you, he talks about the Isha Knuya L'Inyan Biyah. So you have some sort of achiza in her for a certain activity, which is analogous to something like a kinyan peirot, a kinyan for an activity and not a kinyan in the guf. That might help us really understand what kinyan ishut is. Okay, all right. Say it.
Go ahead.